All right, Julian. Julian, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I was born in Washington, D.C. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, though, in Van Nuys, Panorama City area.
Tell me about your family growing up. You had mom and dad?
It was just me, my mom, and my sister growing up. My mom was a single mother. She is an artist, and she struggled, but she did anything and everything she had to do to make sure that me and my sister had what we needed.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
Hectic. One word, hectic, but it was. I had no idea that it was any different, but really it was pretty different than the average person.
In what ways?
Well, I really grew up on like two sides of the spectrum. I grew up in my neighborhood, which was really poor, and with around gangs and drugs, and on that level. And then I grew up in around rich Jewish kids and famous people's kids from where I went to school, because I was tested gifted when I was young, and they put me in like a higher level of schooling, and where there was a lot of more just there were white kids and famous kids and kids with money, you know.
How were your high school years?
My high school years were fun, you know. I mean, I was in and out of juvenile hall, yeah, but I made a lot of money. I helped my mom. I helped my mom when she was having hard times, and I partied a lot. I met my idols in my high school years. I hung out backstage with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which was like the coolest thing I could have ever asked for. And I got put onto a dark path as well, though. You know, I learned all about drugs and that lifestyle, and I learned that, I idolized that lifestyle.
Did the drugs come from being in the rougher neighborhood, or come from the wealthier crowd?
They started from the rougher neighborhood, and being pressed to sell them and to bring them to the wealthier crowd, you know.
Oh, because you were white.
Yeah, I was white, and I was good at talking to people, and people liked me. And
the community you grew up in was mostly Mexican or black?
Hispanic, yeah.
Hispanic.
Yeah.
So you were the white kid that could make the connections. Exactly. And then the rich crowd.
In the rich crowd, I was the connection.
You were the plug.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I was the plug, but I was also like they knew I was poor, and they wanted a lot of people my friends' parents were like, I had so many second parents, because they all knew that my mom's situation and that she was struggling. I was really good at talking to the other parents, you know. So they all loved me. I could go to all my different homes and get taken care of, you know, and get whatever I needed that I couldn't get at home.
And the rich and famous that you would be mingling with were from what industries? Like movies and
all
music?
Of my dad. See, my dad also does special effects, and he has a lot of connections. He didn't necessarily make it big in that world, but he had a lot of connections in that world. And like I said, I was good at talking to people, and people liked me. I got myself an internship when I was young, working on doing music videos with some pretty big like metal bands and stuff, and just as the young little gopher running around doing.
You can name drop a little bit if you want.
So we made Slipknot's masks. We did all of Ozzy Osbourne's music videos, all of System of a Down stuff, Eminem's. We made the severed head for Missy Elliott's 1 Minute Man. We did photo shoots for Eminem. We did stuff for Korn, I mean, all the metal bands really was what the company was called Screaming Mad George's Special Effects, and it was a Japanese guy that owned it, and he was really good at what he did and really big in that world, actually.
You told me a fun story outside about your friend when you were younger.
Yeah, so one of my very close friends is the son of the guitar player for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Mike Campbell's the guitar player, and my friend was Darian Campbell. And we got strung out on coke together when we were young, and to support our habit, we were stealing his dad's guitars. His dad had thousands of guitars, mind you, but we were stealing his dad's guitars and going and pawning them for next to nothing, to be honest, which was so stupid too. But to support our habit, and eventually it came out of the closet, and we ended up having to go and track down. We do everything we can to track down all the guitars. We got back all like 14 of them, except for one. And mind you, his dad paid a lot of money to get them back as well. But yeah, we tracked them down, and we definitely were made to not do that again, you know. But that being said, yeah, I grew up with Darian. The second joint I ever smoked was with Tom Petty, which was amazing. I mean, I've sat in Mike's living room on mushrooms, just tripping balls, talking to Mike and Tom for I'm pretty sure it was hours, but who knows how long it was. I was tripping balls about life and stuff, and just different stuff. I used to be at his house all the time, and his dad, Mike, used to he had pet pigs, and he had like a pig pen. They love animals. They have his mom owns a grooming company in Burbank called the Bow Wow Bungalow that a lot of us used to work at, actually, also when we were in high school. But yeah, they love animals, and Mike had pet pigs, and he would wrestle them. He would just like literally just jump in the mud and start wrestling them. It was hilarious. He loved those pigs. Yeah.
What insights did you gain from seeing the drug involvement of the really poor communities, and then the drug use amongst the wealthy and the famous?
What insights?
Is it basically just the same thing?
It's the same thing.
People love drugs.
Yeah, people love drugs. It's crazy. I mean, it is crazy. Like the different ends of the spectrum, though. Like in the wealthy community, it's all fun and games, you know. In the poor community, it's all business, you know. And like I've seen some crazy shit on that end too. I've seen people get killed. I've seen, I've come across dead bodies, and I've seen like my share of. I have a hard time sleeping at night. I can say that much, you know. Like just from a lot of the things I've seen, some things that I felt I needed to do as well, you know, that haunt me still.
Yeah, the streets are rough.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
34.
34. If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently? Because you're still on the streets and using.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have done much differently except for the drug use. I would have still sold the drugs. I would have done all that. But I would have. The worst thing I did was was getting strung out. I got addicted to heroin when I was 14, and I wish I would have never tried it so young. At the age I tried it, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand what it meant to be. I didn't understand the seriousness of it, you know. So I didn't understand. I want this. First time I tried it, in my head I was going to do it every day for the rest of my life. I loved it, you know. If I would have been a little bit older when I tried it, I would have understood that something that good needs to be respected, you know, and needs to be and therefore like needs and should be limited at least to if you want to enjoy it, you know.
Would you have been able to make the connections in the upper class neighborhoods or even on the streets in the rougher neighborhood that you grew up in if you were not involved in drugs?
If I wasn't involved in, If I wasn't,
Like if you were just totally a square, clean kid.
absolutely not, absolutely not. But if I would have not used the drugs, then I would have gone a lot farther, and I would have not done a lot more. But then again, who knows? I'd also could probably be in like federal prison if I was in that case too. Something. I definitely once I started using the drugs, the people that I really respected in the drug dealing world, the higher ups, they definitely started to look down on me a lot more, and didn't want to have me do as much as I would have liked to do,
And today you're homeless?
Today I'm homeless, yeah.
Where do you have a tent here? Or?
I stay at friends' houses and stuff. I don't want to get it. I've had my own place since my mom kicked me out when I was 15. I've had my own place and been able to manage that up until about 2 years ago, and I refuse to get a tent because I don't want to accept that the homelessness. I refuse to do that. Like I'm gonna pry my way out of this.
Standards.
Yeah, and I'm prying my way out of this. I'm not gonna let myself.
What is your drug today?
Fentanyl and crack. Yeah.
Which is basically just a speedball.
I mean, yeah, before it was fentanyl and crack, I used to shoot heroin and cocaine, and I stopped doing that because my veins got real bad. Fentanyl was a viable option to keep me well without shooting up heroin because it got me high from smoking it. Eventually I missed the cocaine high as well, so I started smoking crack with it, and exactly, it's a speedball. I love speedballs. It's the best feeling there is.
So the heroin makes you forget about anything you're dealing with emotionally.
The
fentanyl.
The fentanyl puts me to sleep, and the crack makes me not care. The heroin will put me to sleep the crack makes me not care.
Have you been clean before?
Yeah, I've had time clean. I've been worked in rehab and shit for a little while.
Tell me about your jewelry on your left ankle.
Yeah, I just got out of jail a few days ago. Other than juvenile hall, I haven't really done a lot of time, but I guess for some reason they felt that they needed to make sure that they knew where I was, I guess, until I'm done doing what they want me to do for court.
Typically, isn't it sex offenders that typically get an ankle monitor?
I get it's people that they're concerned aren't going to show up for court, or people that are concerned are going to flee.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I can't really talk about what I got arrested for too much, just because the people that I work with don't really. Yeah, but.
What's your greatest fear now at this point in your life?
Not getting my shit together, eventually having. I'd like to have a family. I've always wanted to have a family. I'm at the point where I want to turn shit around a little bit, and I want to find somebody that can put up with me, and I can put up with them,
Well, I mean, the baggage you're carrying is going to require somebody who's very forgiving.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you get clean.
Or understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't, and getting clean. Getting clean is also not out of. For the past 12 years, you wouldn't catch me saying that I was gonna get clean, or that it was even an option in my head. But I'm starting to get kind of tired, starting to feel like I deserve something else a little bit, even,
Yeah, life is passing you by.
Yeah.
What's your greatest strength?
My heart, anybody and everybody that knows me knows that, like, I look out for everybody. I do it all, and I care, and I work my ass off every day to make sure that I have what I need, and that whoever's around me has what they need too, which is probably also a little bit of a defect as well, because I tend to look out for more people than I should, when I could be putting that energy into something else. But yeah, I'm always looking out for people in one way or another.
What's the craziest thing you've seen in all your years of this life that revolves around drugs?
Craziest thing I've seen, there's in what area, like the most dangerous or like scary thing, or
yeah, either one. It sounds like you've seen both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I've walked in into a house with like dead bodies in it, that had been there for a couple of days. You could smell it outside of the house, and that was at a young age too,
But amongst the wealthy families that you knew as a kid, how often were drugs involved in those families?
Always.
Really?
Always. One way or another, yeah. Yeah, always, pretty much. In the other end of the spectrum, like the craziest thing, I've flown in a helicopter into the San Francisco sports arena to the backstage of Tom Petty concert. Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, like that's just flying in a helicopter in general. Most people haven't even done that, but yeah. Rest in peace, Tom Petty. By the way,
And what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Just that whatever's happened, and you can't live for yesterday or tomorrow. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Julian, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.